0 John Townsend going to take the lead from the high side. Was supposed to start on the inside of row 2. As he's going to lead him now out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Second spot going to be the 7 of Frank Sartoris. 55 of Brandon Christian now rounding out your top 3. He was supposed to start at the rear of the field. All the way up there now, 3 cars battling down into turn 1. It'll be the 7 of Frank Sartoris, your leader. Trouble now. The 2 cars getting together up front. Danny Binda going around behind him. As still hooked together, the 0 of Townsend, the 55 of Christian. Now Townsend going to skid all the way down into the infield. And we'll bring out the yellow. Seven of Sartoris, Jimmy Barron in second in the 81, and trying to see time. 1 down, 19 to go for the Strictly Stocks. Frank Sartoris first on the gas. Problems for Danny Binda coming up to speed. Smoke out of the number 3 of Shane Sartoris. Top 3 single file down into turn 1. It'll be Frank Sartoris, Brandon Christian up to second. Third now going to be the 81 of Jimmy Barron down the backstretch. Brandon Christian applying that pressure to the number 7. No Sartoris, that'll be your battle for the lead this time out of turn 4. 2 laps complete now. Jimmy Barron getting all kinds of sideways that time out of turn 2. That's going to cost him about 2 car lengths to the leaders. Frank Sartoris up to the high side of the track out of turn 4. Here goes Christian down to the inside. That's your battle for the lead, side by side into turn 1. And give it to Brandon Christian now in the 55 as Frank Sartoris dropping back to second. Barron still in third. Fourth going to be the number 3 of Shane Sartoris. Megan Matheny, good run right now as she's rounding out your top 5. And here comes Eddie Moran, the former fighter pilot in the number 1 car. Moran up to 6th as he's going to put the pressure on Matheny now to break into the top 5. Shane Sartoris doing a little bit of drifting that time in turns 1 and 2, and that's going to cost him. Here comes Matheny and Moran now out of turn 2. Jimmy Barron now putting some pressure on the number 7 of Frank Sartoris. That'll be your battle for second. A 3-car battle now for 4th, and give it to the number 3 of Sartoris that time. But he's got the fighter pilot Moran now putting the pressure on out of turn 2. Side-by-side battle for second. It's going to be Barron on the high side. Takes it away from Sartoris as your leader still. Christian in the number 55. Brandon Christian hanging on to about a 6-car length advantage now over that 81 of Barron. Eddie Moran again applying that pressure to the number 3 of Sartoris. Drops it down to the inside this time. Takes a peek at it. Not been doing that time. He's going to drop it back. Not dropping in line. Keeps it down to the inside. And it's going to be Sartoris sideways down the back stretch. Can he save it? Trying to all the way down to the Bandolero track. He's going to lose a spot though. It'll be halfway next time by. 10 down, 10 to go for Brandon Christian. As he exits turn 4 and crosses the stripe this time. 10 in, 10 left. Second spot, still Jimmy Barron all by himself with 81. Third, the 7 of Sartoris. And here comes Eddie Moran in the number 1 car. As we said, Eddie Moran, a former fighter pilot. With 9 laps remaining now, this time for Christian. Eddie Moran all over the back bumper of Frank Sartoris. That's the 7, the 2 red cars out there, the 7 and the number 1. That's your battle for third. Here goes Moran down to the inside at the start-finish line, side by side into turn one. It's going to be advantage Moran now out of turn two down the backstretch. Eddie Moran now up to third. A good run for that number one car. Laps winding down, though. He's going to be almost a full straightaway back behind your leader, Brandon Christian. And they've still got the 81 of Jimmy Barron in between him in the second spot. Brandon Christian making his way through some slower traffic now down into turn three. 5 laps remaining, this time by for Brandon Christian. Looking to become just the second different strictly stock feature winner here in 2012. Frank Satoris and Shane Satoris having a good little battle out there. Father and son. Father in the 7 car, son in the number 3. As your leader, Brandon Christian, making his way off of turn 4. 3 laps to go now. Eddie Moran's car. Probably the fastest car on the track now with that number 1 machine as he's continuing to run down the 81 of Jimmy Barron. And we'll see if he's going to be able to get up to him for second spot here with 2 laps remaining as they cross the start-finish line now. White flag in the air for your leader, Brandon Christian. Eddie Moran trying to run down Jimmy Barron. Going to be about 2.5, make it 3 car lengths back. As they cross the start-finish line, some slower traffic in front of them. Leader down the backstretch into turn number 3. Brandon Christian for the final time. Now checkered flag is in the air out of turn 4. And Brandon Christian taking the strictly stock feature win. Second spot going to go to Jimmy Barron by only about a car length, though, over the number 1 of Eddie Moran. So a good run for Eddie Moran, rounding out the top 3 now. He's had a 7th place, a 4th place, and now a 3rd place finish in that number 1 car doubleheader. 100 laps for the Pro Late Models tomorrow night. There he is out of the car, folks. Strictly stock feature winner, Brandon Christian. Also, hang on to your ticket stubs, folks. If you bring them back next Friday night here at Orlando Speedway, we'll give you $2 off admission here as well. Super Late Models will be back in action. The weekly racing series Super Late Models for a 25-lap main event. For more information on that and all the upcoming events, check us out online at orlandospeedworld.org.